rehearse already?
Yeah, I'm done.
You don't do like interviews or anything?
No.
Yeah?
I'm behind the camera. The
What-
last interview I did was with Shad Harris, and I was very awkward. He asked me, "What do you do?" And I'm like, I be out here. I don't know how to.
He's like, what do you do out here though? Like,
I be out.
I just be to be or not to be.
here, basically.
Was that you not talking in the documentary on Richmond? What happened out there? Were you not? You were not in that one? Mm-mm. Oh, okay, I'm tripping then.
I wasn't out there because I was 757. You out here lying on me.
Damn. Oh,
The Fabulous Five? You talking about the Wild Bunch?
The Wild Bunch.
No, I just directed the documentary. I directed it. I did what did I do? Directed, co-produced with D'Amico Cooper, who had a lot of the footage, like the documentary was from the perspective of the citizen journalist, and I know I was following from Richmond.
You talking about that
Excuse me,
George
I was
Floyd
following-
protest one?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was following from Norfolk what was going on in Richmond, and mainly seeing what was going on with RVA Mag and D'Amico Cooper.
That's
Those two
D'Amico
people.
Phillips, right?
Phillips, sorry. I need to start over.
Am I wrong or because I know him as D'Amico Phillips? Like he shoots music videos and
It's
stuff.
Phillips. I'm thinking
Phillips?
about.
Okay.
I've interviewed two people named D'Amico. I'm sorry.
Okay, just making sure
But
we're talking about the same
no,
person.
it's the same person.
Yeah.
No, thank you for correcting me because
Okay,
I get
yeah.
both of them. I get them mixed up. I'm sorry, D'Amico. You're awesome.
He is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a very cool dude. Yeah.
I know him just from doing music videos out here for like some years.
I didn't know he did music.
So you don't even know he
videos
does
too.
those.
No, not the. I didn't know he did. You talking about 757s, or you just talking about in general?
In this area, 757, he did a lot of music videos, right?
He lives in Richmond.
Like Richmond area.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. I need.
Well, so you didn't know he does music videos at all?
I knew he does music
Okay.
videos. I just knew he was based out of Richmond, but he.
It might be only Richmond. I've seen him
But
just
I know he
following on Instagram and stuff. And he also does all the I've seen the videos like where he's like throwing his camera around. Have you seen those? Those are pretty funny.
Yeah. Yeah, I really enjoyed working with him because I remember when I was following stuff, and I was sharing a lot of his videos with another friend of mine. So I thought it was kind of serendipitous that we ended up making the documentary and using his footage, and he was a co-producer as well.
So seeing his footage, you were in Norfolk seeing this. That's kind of what inspired you to want to go out there just by seeing his footage?
Well, I was still healing from a surgery, so I couldn't go out there, but I knew I wanted to be a part of it, so it was good that even though I couldn't document everything, I could still be a part of putting those pieces together to tell that story.
Okay, so he shot the whole thing then. So you weren't able to even get out there.
He shot a lot of the things that are going on, just the action, just being out there. And it was also from the perspective of some of the VPM staff. They were recording videos, and it was...
You said a VPM?
Yeah, that's
What's
what
that?
Virginia's Home for Public Media. I freelance with them.
Okay.
It's the Richmond affiliate of PBS. And with RVA Mag's involvement, they had this group called the Wild Bunch. So also in that documentary was, remember everyone, we have Puma Smith, we have Keisha Eugene, there was Lydia, we have Destiny, I don't remember his last name. I know I'm missing two people. D'Amico, of course, and Randall Blythe, and Landon Schroeder, and I'm missing one more person's name that starts with an I.
This is the Wild Bunch?
Yeah, they were mainly taking a lot of photography. So it was just a mix of getting all those perspectives of people that were on the ground, because there was a other narrative being shown on the news that the protesters were just out there just to be out there, and it wasn't really showing the peaceful parts of the protesting. So,
I saw one part, and
yeah.
I think it was in Act 2. Or is the whole thing on your Vimeo? The Act 1, Act 2, that's the whole thing?
And it's also on PBS.org
Yeah.
too. It's got
I was also going to ask you, why do you use
PBS.org.
Vimeo? We can get to that too, but I know there was one part in the Act 2, it was like, I think they were trying to say the protesters had like started it by throwing a water bottle, but it was a lie. They had to go back and retract it because of independent journalists.
Yeah,
because of
it was
people,
just really, it was showing the importance of people having those independent journalists, having those citizen journalists, because they were able to protect their narrative as well. So,
Okay,
yeah.
and you guys won an Emmy for this thing, right?
We were nominated for Emmy.
Oh, 'cause you were nominated.
Yes.
How was that? That's crazy too, even just that. But
Yeah, it was very, I don't know, it was exciting, and it was important with that one that it'd be, nominated. So I was very excited.
yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of one of your more recent projects. Maybe we can back up a little bit.
Okay.
You want to just tell us a little bit about just coming up a little bit, childhood life, and how you even got into doing documentaries, like
Childhood life. I don't know. What do you want to know? Like, just
Well, where were you born? I guess first of all, born and raised at.
fighting the urge to do the Fresh Prince theme song.
What do you mean?
When you're like born and raised on the playground, I was like, no, don't do it, no.
Oh, wait.
So
Are you from Norfolk?
I'm sorry. The theme song's in my head.
Yeah.
Everything
Go
is
ahead.
all right.
Go ahead. Put on the mic. You
Nah.
can say it. We love Will.
Okay, all right. So I grew up in Goochland. Go ahead.
Where is that at? Goochland?
Yes, it's a real place.
Okay. Where's Goochland?
See, I feel away.
Is it somewhere down south? My bad. That was just too easy.
It was. I know. I haven't been able to fill up both hands yet of the people that know where is Goochland or what a Goochland is. However, if you ever watched the Cleveland show, there's a whole episode dedicated to Goochland. So there.
Okay.
The writer of Family Guy knows about Goochland.
Yeah. So I guess what state is it in?
It is in this state,
Is it
sir.
Virginia?
This is
Okay.
where we drove from.
Oh, you live in Goochland now.
Yes.
This is the current. Okay.
I feel
You live in
away.
Goochland too? He said, "Hell no, I don't live in Goochland." Okay, so you still live in the place you were born in.
First of all, sir, I don't know why you pretend that you don't like Goochland.
We have a Loplex in the back too, just by the way.
Trying to act like he don't like Goochland. He be out there with the horses and stuff, like, ooh, Dexter. Like, don't play. Anyway, pardon me. Back to my professional voice.
Okay. Coming up in Goochland, what was
Yes.
life like?
It was quiet. Think I probably saw cows every day. Cows were across the school. At one point, my neighbor had cows. It was very embarrassing because they got loose in my yard. One of my friends was taking me home. So it's embarrassing. You driving home and there's just like random cows in your yard.
What y'all got going on in this neighborhood?
So yeah, that's Goochland. We got excited when the Subway and the Food Lion and the Hardee's came. We're like, yes, fast food. So yeah, that was Goochland. It was quiet.
And is it like more like city now? Because you say you still live there.
It's still rural.
'Cause I know like in areas like Smithfield and
No,
kind of
we're-
more rural areas around here, like over the last 10, 20 years, they add a bunch of stuff, shopping centers, fucking apartment complexes, like.
Not in Goochland.
Yo, what the fuck?
No.
Yeah, so okay, like
No.
country
I'm
life.
sorry.
I guess what was your like? When did you get interested in journalism? And when did you pick a damn camera up?
Oh man. College. But I'll rewind to about the time I had been like 15, and my mom, she came home with a look on her face like, I'm done. And I associated her face with she was going somewhere every day she didn't like, and she had to dress up.
Okay.
So just the 9 to 5. I didn't realize at the time I was developing an aversion to the 9 to 5 and having to wear a suit every day. So I remember going to my room and like praying that whatever I did, all I have to do is wear jeans and a t-shirt. Because that was like happiness. That's what I saw as happy. So, and I knew I wanted to do something creative. So I went to VCU, and
What did your mom do?
she was, what did she do? I know she had a part-time job. She had maybe 2 to 3 jobs at a time. You know, she had her business where she did taxes. I know at one point she was working at 7-Eleven, and then she also worked at Baskerville and Sons for the longest time as an executive assistant. So it was just her. So, but I just could, yeah. She just came home one day. It was just, you could just see it all over her face, like, nah.
And you're like, I don't want to have that face.
No, basically, I don't want to have that face. You wearing a black suit, I don't like it. So if I got to wear a suit, I don't want to do it. So that was the start, I guess. Just wanting to be comfortable when I worked. So, but yeah, going to VCU, and I wanted to do graphic design, but I did not get into graphic design. And at the time I was there, if you didn't get into the discipline you wanted, you ended up in sculpture. I'm not a sculptor, so I struggled for like a good year and a half. But
How do they throw kids into sculpture? Like that's probably the thing you like least likely to find a job for.
Well,
right?
I don't want to say that because I mean,
who is sculpting? Like when have you seen somebody sculpting something?
We were just looking at sculpture today.
My bad.
We were just looking at
the sculptors out there like, you fucking asshole.
We was looking at the sculpture at that was in Dakar, Senegal, because I don't know if I should say this, but because there's a sculpture on Brown's Island. It's called, I think it's called Emancipation, dude. Oh, it has that type of energy,
Yeah.
and it's like I understand, but it's like, and I was like, see, they need to put a statue like the one that's in Dakar, Senegal. I think it's called the Renaissance, African Renaissance. And it was a picture of the black family. The man holding the baby, his wife is behind him, and they're emerging from a volcano. Just like, oh, like, yes. So I was just like, we need something like that versus, all the time. So, yeah. They'll probably get me in trouble, but that's how I feel. It's tiring.
Okay, so you get thrown into sculpting class because you didn't get into graphic design.
Mm-hmm. So I found they had these like short courses where you could try out for like 6 weeks. So I did a video tech course, and I was like, ooh, it stuck.
What did you learn in that class?
Well, just the basics of editing. So this is when they had the VHS decks, the Betamax deck.
I don't even know what that is. You're editing on physical hardware?
Yeah, they're like big like VCRs. I mean, you have the master and then the record, and you have to do the 5-second pre-roll, and you got to toggle, let it, and then in, then out, and then you have to maneuver how you press record to make sure it hits in the right place on that. Yeah, so that's how I was learning how to edit.
So you're actually like doing cuts and transitions and adding text and shit like all through that?
Yeah, so they were teaching that, and at the same time, like NLEs were coming in, like, Premiere and all of that. Not Premiere. Yes, they had Final Cut and Premiere, and then you have, iMovie and stuff like that. So I kind of came into it when that was starting to take off. And I remember at the time, PBS, they were transitioning from the tape decks
to this new software.
So it's just like, ooh. So my teacher at VCU, he liked my work and told me that PBS was hiring. And I was like, all right. So.
And what was that initial job?
I was a production technician. So let me get some water. So basically wrangled cable, helped set up. You do the dirty work. So yeah, that's how I started, wrangling cable.
It's like the bottom of the ladder.
Yeah, you got to pay your dues. It wasn't like, okay, I'm just gonna nah.
So you get this job at PBS after you graduate, and what year was that?
Why do you know all that?
Oh, you ain't got to tell us.
Why you being nosy?
I'm just trying to say because you still work for PBS now, right?
Yes,
so like you've been with them for a long time.
Yeah, where did I graduate? When was it?
You gave us kind of a hint. You were like a premiere just started getting started, like premiere.
Oh yeah, I just playing
iMovie.
I mean,
I didn't think about that because
I mean, DaVinci Resolve just started. I'm younger. It's
or how long have you been working with PBS? Can we ask that question?
2004. I'm just messing
Okay.
around. It's been a long time.
So, yo, what the fuck? I'm just saying I didn't think about that because
they had Betamax tapes and 2 decks.
You know how they say with music, how they used to use like physical compressors and EQs and shit. I didn't think about like editing. Mm-hmm. So what the fuck did they edit? All them old like Titanic, all them old like great movies. They were doing all that shit like physically, like
some were doing film and then using the tapes. So it's like you think about film, like it's like they're having to really look at it, cut it, and then like tape it together. So
that's crazy. Maybe that's even we kind of even go into that. Just the accessibility and how easy it is to create stuff nowadays. I feel like that's a beautiful thing. Like anybody can create stuff now. Anybody can tell a story. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like I don't know. Okay, so you get the job at PBS. Mm-hmm. And was that like a salary position? Because I think you like freelance now, right?
Yeah, freelance now. It was part-time, so we were on call. Yeah.
How many of the students in your class or like that you were going to school with actually like got jobs like right away like you?
I don't know.
Yeah? Okay.
Yeah, honestly don't know.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's fine. Okay, so you're newly at this PBS job. Mm-hmm. How's it going for you from there?
I mean, pretty good. Yeah, I feel like I need some more detail. Like what exactly do you mean?
What was your first job with them?
What was my first job with them?
Or first like piece?
Oh, what was my first piece?
If you remember.
So long ago. It was a long time.
Yo, what the fuck?
Tell us, Ancient One. What was it like to edit? Man, when was it?
You're editing with rocks and sticks.
Basically, I'm chiseling stories.
Chiseling stories out of stone.
I think my first piece was on, his name was Raymond Cherry, and he was in the Negro League. And another person, Pixie Curry, she had told me about the story. So she was a good mentor during that time because she told me kind of how to move up the ladder there. Like make sure don't ever look like you're not busy. Always ask for help, and always make sure you're communicating with the producers and all that stuff. And so yeah, I appreciate her. She was a really good mentor. And my teacher Mason Mills, good mentor. Paul Roberts, like I learned a lot from them. Yeah, but like I don't know if that was your question, but yeah.
That you said Richard what?
Raymond Cherry.
Raymond Cherry.
Yeah, he was in the Negro League. That was like my first piece. Yeah.
What was the most challenging piece you think for you to do, and what was the one you got the most enjoyment out of? Like, what was the most fun one?
Challenging. Man, there's a lot.
Maybe the fun one?
Okay, I think probably the most challenging one, I guess it's a tie between doing the documentary, because just didn't want to let anybody down, and then just these citizen journalists, they're trusting me with their footage and trusting me to make sure I tell their story accurately and not putting my opinion or anything on it. So I think that was probably the most challenging one. Most fun.
And also, what was the actual name of that documentary? Because I don't know if I'm just remembering it wrong, but is it on Vimeo? Does it just say Act 1 and Act 2? Does it even say the title on there?
It's the full documentary is called Why This Moment, and you can find the full one on PBS.
Why This Moment?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, I just had those 2 scenes on there. Those 2 scenes on the Vimeo.
So that's not the whole thing then?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was the most challenging one.
Mm-hmm.
You're using that must be kind of like you're using other people's footage. Like you say, you want to do right by them too. So it's not like you don't want to let people down. What was the most fun one?
Probably the one I did on Queen City. I think what's it called? Magic and Mischief. It's basically this town in Stanton, and they turned the town into like Hogwarts.
I saw that one.
So that's probably the one that I had the most fun with.
People,
and it was nice just being able to take a break from doing stuff that was so serious.
Yeah. Are you in Harry Potter?
I enjoy watching them. I know I'm probably not as diehard as people who know the whole canon, but I enjoy watching them.
That one dude, because everybody else pretty much kind of looked like regular costumes on, but the one guy, what's his name, with the gray, he looks kind of like an alien. That was really good costume. Like his costume was really well done.
You can't say his name. Starts with a V though.
With a what?
We're not supposed to say his
name.
With
a V?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know. If you're a Harry Potter fan out there, the guy he was like the bad guy. He doesn't look human. He looks kind of like. But in the piece that you did, whoever did his costume was really well done. Well, he was like the actual guy from the fucking movie.
Yeah, it kind of creeped me out.
Yeah.
There was one dude that was a Dementor. That one kind of creeped me out a little bit too.
He was a what?
The Dementor. Do I have it right? Thank you. Because at
We're
first I was getting it mixed up with
Harry Potter fans talking about Harry Potter.
Dementor, yeah. At first I was getting it.
What was the main character's name? It was like some Potter. It's like. But yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I was asking you too. Also, why Vimeo? Let's see. I was watching a bunch of your stuff on Vimeo. Are you on YouTube too? Like what? Yeah. Why there?
Because I'm just not good at promoting myself. Yeah. There's no good reason. I probably should be on YouTube. I'm just like,
Yeah. It's cool though. It's like a different place. It gives you a different vibe. Like when I was there searching through your profile and watching your videos, I felt like I was in a different vibe than searching on YouTube. I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm just accustomed to the layout of YouTube or whatever. But
was it a positive user experience, or would you prefer to just be on YouTube?
I would say it was positive. I think that's interesting. It's kind of in today's times, we're so used to getting our shit from these platforms that exist right now, and I feel like back in the day it wasn't really like that. Like you had part of it, the fun part was going to search for something. So even if I'm having to go search on Vimeo, it's other websites that I'm not normally on. It feels like it brings me back to that of having to just leave your house or having to go out of your way to find something cool. And then when you find this,
so did you feel like it was out of your way to go to my Vimeo?
Nah, but my fingers automatically go to YouTube when I go to YOU. And it's you feel me? But no, also it was, but you get what I'm saying though? Just the act of discovering something. It was.
I like that better.
Yeah.
You were discovering versus.
I'm not hating on your Vimeo.
I'm like,
is it Vimeo? Is it Vimeo? I think it's Vimeo.
I don't even know. But I knew what you meant though. But I think that does play a part in also why I'm just on Vimeo, because when I was coming up, social media wasn't that on and popping, as the young folks say. If you still say it, I don't know. So I just so
Yo, you are hilarious, yo.
oh, I'm sorry. I'm nervous. This is
Don't
the
be nervous. You
awkwardness.
good?
So
We just
I gotta go
we
back.
just a couple Harry Potter fans in here talking shit.
Lord.
The light. Keep going. That's part of my job I didn't do.
Oh. So you must be. Are you like the director? Like. Okay. Please give me your name, sir. Kieran.
That's Kieran. Andrew kept calling him Kay. We were weak. He's like, thanks, Kay. Like, what's up, Kay?
Okay. Let's see. Can we go back to what you asked? Because, so like, do you like edit, or you just
This podcast?
throw it out there? Just
So this will be straight through.
Oh no.
This will be straight through. They're going to get the full meta experience. all the awkwardness. All the
awkward.
random musicals
All
we
the
went into.
random singing.
You were
All the
singing.
voices. And it's on YouTube, so it's not out of your way.
You know what? We're going to drop this on Vimeo. Okay.
Oh no.
But yeah, so you're doing all these pieces. You're dropping them on Vimeo. What I was gonna ask you too. So I guess when did you? So all the stuff you're doing for PBS, right? Are you like, are these your ideas that you're like wanting to do, or they're telling you kind of what pieces to do? Like, do you have ownership of these pieces in any way? Like, how does that all work?
I was with this show called Virginia Currents for I think 7 years. So with that, we were responsible for finding our own stories. So for the most part, yeah, I've been able to pick what I want to do. Yeah. But with the documentaries, it's been a producer. One of the senior producers would be like, "Hey, this is what we like to do," and then I'm like, "Okay, cool." So yeah.
Is somebody going back to like edit your stuff or like
I
proof edit it, or like to like look
Oh.
over it and to like give the okay on? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, it goes through a chain, but it isn't too crazy. My boss, my manager, the executive producer, he'll watch it first and just it'll go through rounds of that before we send it up top. Yeah.
And then, do you have any royalties, or when these things come out, if they air on TV?
It belongs to them. Yeah. Yeah, this is their stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You agree with that?
I mean, I'm.
Or have you thought much about that?
I don't think I've thought that much about it. I mean, I can still use them to promote myself within reason and things like that. But I don't think I've ever really thought about it. I guess because I just saw it as like working for a television station, so I just pretty much was like assumed, it was theirs. I think if it was something like I wholly presented to them, then it'd be probably a little bit different. But it's more so I'm functioning as like a freelance, but kind of functioning as an employee working to create for them. So if that answers the question.
It does.
Okay.
Okay, so you're at PBS. How would you, and the other one's called Virginia Currents, you said?
Yeah, that was a show that was part of VPM's lineup, but we had our last show, I want to say in 2020, but at the time it was the longest running public program in Virginia. So that was through VPM.
What are some other ways, like, do you get freelance gigs, like, outside of these companies that you work for now? Mm-hmm. How do you go about kind of, like, finding these other gigs?
Like you pointed out with me just having a Vimeo and I don't even have, like, a website, I really don't promote myself, so I'm just not good at it. And I think, also part of it is, which you were touching on before, where I was kind of coming into, like, this new advancement in communication and technology, if you will. So I was building my career without needing those things. So I think I just haven't broken the habit to be like, all right, you do need to maybe have a website.
You've been kind of moving off like word of mouth, it seems like.
Yeah, I'm very grateful. It's been very much word of mouth because if I didn't, I'm honestly surprised that I have work. Because I don't.
So since you graduated, this has been your like, this is how you make your money? You haven't really had any other jobs?
Mm-mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me. I always talk about that. Like,
Why so?
Just because people talk about like success and having this crazy amount of money and fame, but it's like that. I think what we like a lot of us artists miss is that first level of real success is when you could just live off your art. If you could just make even whatever $3-4 grand a month, what you'd make at a fucking 9 to 5, you can do that by doing whatever you do. That's like that first level, I think, of success. And for a lot of people, that you can be content with that. You can make a living, you can feed your family, you can create. I don't think it's not realistic that everybody's going to be a huge star and make billions of dollars and whatever. I think if you can create in any capacity and be able to just do that full time, that's just cool.
Yeah, I'm most grateful that I can say, like, for 80% of the time, I'm where I want to be. It's like very rare I'm doing something that I don't want to do. So, and I think that's probably one of the biggest stressors, being forced to give your prime operating hours to someone else to make them comfortable, make them rich. So I can say I'm grateful to my mom because the way she just talked about entrepreneurialism, I think I said it right.
She said, girl, you do not want to clock in. I'm trying to tell
you. Her face said it. Yeah, so she just talked about it like it wasn't a choice. So I had a full-time job like while I was still doing part-time at PBS, and I had a full-time job at a hotel, and that was like my first time experiencing like, oh, this is what it's like to not want to get up. You just wake up just automatically grumpy and just dreading the day. I was like, nah, give us free. Like, no.
You touching on being nervous on camera and shit. How do you like? Because a lot of your documentary portions are interview portions. So it might be a lot of times you might have people that are on camera that haven't been on camera. Have you experienced it? What do you tell these people that are like, you're behind the camera, so you're in your safe zone, you're recording. But like, how are you getting these people that are on camera? Like, how are you getting them comfortable? Are you having to experience that?
Oh yeah. Like when I'm able to, I will do a pre-interview so they can get a feel for me and who I am. But I guess how I'm with you, because I'm very much an introvert, and doing interviews, I have a small bit of dread because it is that whole like, I'm talking to a stranger, you know?
You just haven't asked them the question, even though you're off camera.
It's just like, you know, I'm still like, So I think they pick up maybe a little bit on that.
On your awkwardness?
Yeah, like I really feel like my awkwardness is my superpower. So
you know what it is though? Because awkwardness is real close to authenticity. It is authentic. Awkwardness is authentic. So it inspires authenticity, I think, in others too. You know what I mean? So it's like sometimes if somebody's talking to you like in some way where you feel like they're not being themselves, you might not be yourself back with them, where you might feel uncomfortable. But I think the more authentic somebody is with you, like you feel like you could be more authentic, and the awkward is just like the purest form of that. Like you can't even help it. You're just like you're being your total awkward self. Like, so I don't know. It probably is a superpower, like you say.
I like that. Thank you.
Stay awkward. We have an artist out here from I want to say from Hampton. Her name is Awkward Jazz. That's like her rap name.
Oh.
She's pretty awkward. We did 2 interviews together, like over 2 years. The second one was a lot less awkward, but it was still awkward though. I was like, I see how you get your name. Okay, so I was actually on storytelling. So you sit down, like, how do you kind of start your process in even starting a piece? Like, you know what I mean? What's your kind of process with that?
You talking about workflow or just how I divine the narrative?
Well, I think both.
Okay. Well, I have an idea of what I want to ask.
like pre-shoot. You know, before you start shooting, what are you? Because I'm also I'm listening. I'm like listening because we're thinking about doing a documentary too. So like, I'm like a sponge right now. Is everything you're saying?
I was going to ask you if you lived in a pineapple under the sea because you said you're a sponge. I'm sorry.
I like SpongeBob. I came up on that.
Have you seen the latest movie?
The SpongeBob movie?
Yeah.
Nah, I haven't. I gotta see it. What's like? How recent is it?
It's delightful. I think it came out. It was either 2020 or 2021.
I gotta tap in. I haven't seen it. I did see a meme much long ago. It was like growing up as a kid, you think that Squidward is the annoying neighbor. Then when you grow up, you realize that SpongeBob is the annoying neighbor.
Yeah, he was doing too much. Like, Squidward is a introvert. We don't like pop-ups. We don't like unnecessary noise. Why are you extra right now? Like, sit down, sir.
So you would say if you're a
Dehydrate.
SpongeBob character, you're a Squidward.
Oh, I'm a Squidward, I believe. I'm, not as cranky. Just, I think I'm an awkward Squidward. That's how I would describe myself. Yeah.
Low is kind of awkward too, though, so that's why y'all are a good fit. But yeah, so you were telling us about
Was he being awkward?
what today, or like on this episode? No,
The
nah. Me and him have a pretty good, I would say, communication. But you could tell he's kind of an awkward guy. You might think he's awkward if you don't know him, like, you know what I mean. But some people might say I'm awkward, so I don't know.
He alright. When I first, he gave me emo vibes at first.
You kind of do. I feel you were emo in high school. I could see you had a little spiked hair. He had the spike, and he had the chains on his wrist and on his pants. Did he have chains on his pants?
I mean, I haven't known him that long.
Oh, okay, my bad.
Which
you got off on that one. I'm gonna go back on his Facebook to like 2009. He got that.
Oh, damn. You're gonna see a whole different person, bro. You gotta go to MySpace.
But yeah, so he was
wow.
giving you emo vibes.
MySpace.
We can get back to the.
Oh, sorry. All right, what was your? All right,
To the
we were
documentary
talking
part.
about.
No, you can go. You
my
know, we
process.
want to hear about that. He was giving you emo vibes. Keep going on
This
that.
ain't about him.
Okay.
Oh. Anyway. What are you sewing in the wind? What is this?
Just tell him.
All right.
He said, "Just tell him." He wants me to know.
Oh, I'm trying to think about my process. I'll just talk about you do the research, you get your questions together. I will do a pre-interview when I can so that my subject will have a feel for who I am, my energy, and just helps them feel comfortable. So by the time I get there, they don't feel as uncomfortable. I have learned to, what works for me is kind of memorizing what I'm going to ask them. Because I did notice if I'm on a notepad or if I'm using my phone, they would start to feel uncomfortable.
Like if you're like reading the question off.
Yeah, they would feel like I'm not listening. So making sure it feels like it's a conversation, I've noticed that will, put people at ease. And if I do notice someone's nervous, I'll stop the camera. I was like, do you need a break, But then after do the interview, prep my project, get all my video and audio synced and things of that nature. Transcripts save you so much time.
What do you mean by transcripts?
I will, once I get my interviews together, I will export an MP3 into this. I use this program called Otter, and it will transcribe what everyone's saying. So I'll highlight what I think is important, and then I'll do a paper edit with the original time code, and then I will put those sound bites into the order that I think will work with the edit. Put all those things on timeline. Listen. I'll give myself a day to just be away from the piece. That way when I come back, have a better, okay, this goes here, here, and here. So I guess that's my process, really.
Wait, so you
That makes
mean
any sense.
transcript? Is this captions on the video, or is this a separate,
Oh.
like, just,
Oh, sorry.
you know what I mean?
Well, what it is I guess it's like it doesn't create captions on the video. It'll
It's like
like
a separate file, just the whole transcript of everything that's being said. Mm-hmm. And what is the purpose of that? To be able to look
So-
at where stuff's being said and go to it quicker, or
yeah, basically. So if there's a soundbite someone said that you really remember, you get it transcribed and you take your notes. Once it's transcribed, you can like type in like those keywords.
I don't
and
go
then
to
it
that
will
part of the video.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it helps out a lot. Cause I'll print them all out and just kind of highlight and put things in order. So transcripts are important.
When you like, so I guess you pick your topic, what you're gonna like do it on, and then there's like a main question, like, or is there like a, you said you pick the questions, but I'm kind of thinking like, how do you, I guess for me, it's like, how do you, okay, you have the question, but it's like, from what angle do you want to attack that question, and like, how do you want the story to flow? And for me also, because right now, kind of my experience in telling stories is with the skits. I don't know if you've seen our skits. They're like 1 minute.
Oh, I'm glad you brought those up.
Okay.
'Cause they're funny, and I like how it's like this. The way you have like the voiceover, like I don't know how to articulate what I'm trying to say, but I like this.
It feels intimate.
I like
We want it to feel intimate.
the way you shoot it is very intimate, and I do like that. But I liked how you would have like it's like you were doing like a voiceover instead of just seeing them actually talk, and it just adds this like
Makes you use your imagination.
yes, and it gives like this really awkward type of humor that I like. I feel like that's your intention.
It is.
So yeah, so I was just like, okay, like I really liked those stylistic choices that you were taking with those.
Appreciate that. Like for me, that's kind of like, okay, so we eventually want to do like 5 minute, 10 minute, longer storytelling. Like, so this is my first kind of just introduction to storytelling, which is these like 1 minute things. But even now I'm kind of like just learning the different keys to telling the story. And for me, a lot of times it's like, it'd be the ending. It's like, okay, this is what's happening, but how does it end? Or it's like, how does the story flow? Because a lot of times we might have a story and a skit, but then it feels totally different depending on what order you put stuff in. Or like,
That's true.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
how do you kind of go with like, look at the flow of the documentary? For me, like when I do a skit, I'll watch it a bunch of times. I'll watch it literally like 30 times back to back. And then through that, because it's almost like how you want to feel. It's like a song. For me, like editing a video is like, it's because I make music too. So it kind of does feel the same to me. Like the way a video flows or like a documentary or a movie, it's like a song in a way where there's like pockets and it can feel off. It can feel like off beat. So
Yeah.
then you might have to like, I don't know, you know what I mean?
No, I feel you because so say like in the transcript, it looks good on the transcript, but the way the person says it may not flow. So like you're saying, because I'll like to listen to like the cadence of a person's voice because that'll also help me sometimes with the flow of an edit. So you feel it. You can tell when you're engaged, when you just kind of like fall off. You can tell if you've like rushed the soundbite, or you can tell if maybe you need to do like let a soundbite breathe and maybe have some nat sound of birds or something.
Are you putting the music in first or like after the voices?
I learned how to edit dry. Like for
No music.
years, I was not allowed to use music. So I had to really rely on a person's.
That's weird.
Like I was relying on just like guess how the person was, just their flow, their vibe, their essence. That is what I was going off with those edits. So a lot of listening to a person's cadence would dictate how I was editing and the flow and stuff.
Do you still edit dry? Because like me, even back to the skits, I put the music first. I actually I do the music. I start with the music, then I put the video. I do edit the video to the music, and then I put the voices on last.
But I think, okay, so you aren't using. Oh, excuse me.
I'm not using audio from the actual video clips.
So okay.
it's
So
different,
yeah, it's a little bit different. So I think with a how do I answer this? Because I've also, because I'm doing more things for VPM's digital platform, so I'm used to making things that are like maybe 10 to 20, maybe an hour and a half, and then I had to learn how to, like just shrink it. And I noticed with those edits, I'll get my sound bites, but I will listen to the music first, and then I'll do like B-roll and stuff like that. I feel like for those shorter things, I have to hear music sooner versus with the longer things.
It's like stuff probably like it's a different flow. If it's longer, it might flow differently.
Yeah. And then it's very much more so like, you got to, how do I say this? I feel like it was just very much narrative first. Get it through the words first, and then the music is more to complement. I don't feel like it was necessarily meant to like drive the piece, but just kind of like give you something to kind of help. Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like more of the social media videos, it's like more music centered first, and then maybe words. I mean that's how it seems. That's how it feels to me. But I guess for someone who
You talking about just like the viral content that goes like, or which type of content are you talking about?
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'm still figuring out. Like, well, I guess like I've noticed I do see more things, or like when I have contracted like freelance editors, maybe younger ones, and I have one of them to use a soundbite. They weren't accustomed to using sound bites, but they definitely use music first, and then it was easier. So I don't know if it's more so just like with social media, having that perfect song is more important.
It's a
Or is it
honestly,
just
it's like
like
the
a-
Wild Wild West. You don't really know. A lot of things. Okay, all the greatest things that go viral, they're spontaneous. They're out of the blue. The best things are unique. They bring something new to the table. Then followed behind that is a lot of people just copying that trend. So then you'll see a lot of those things go viral for like the next couple months. They're just the copies of that, the version 2s and version 100s of that. Then something else comes along, and it might be something I can't really say it's like necessarily like what's driving it. It might be random, it might be something funny, it might be I notice comedy and drama is the top two. You know what I mean? I don't know, but now in today's climate too, like trending sounds are a thing. People make their own videos. Like that's kind of like one of our goals too with the skits is to make the sounds really good too, to where you want to make your own video to it. You know what I mean? They're like, I feel like a lot of our skits are like, they have that element to where you can recreate it, and it could be like a trend. You can recreate your own video to that like sound or whatever. You touching on you hiring young contractors for PBS. What do you hire them for? Like
if I
can I get a job? Like type shit.
Do you know how to edit the sound? Like if I was like, here, find this story.
So I edit all of our stuff.
Like, could you do a long form like documentary?
We've been we're talking about it. I can do. There's a lot of stuff that I haven't done. We're doing new things constantly, and I'm like developing my skill as we go. But yeah, we want to do the documentary on this area, but we're trying to figure out the right way to do it. Because like when we were walking out, when I was telling you, like I feel like you do like the professional version. Because he was like, "Yo, you pretty much do journalism." I get it. I do journalism.
No, you do.
I'm a journalist,
Yeah.
but I was telling you, like, I feel like I'm a stoner journalist. You know what I mean? And you're like a professional journalist, and it's like, so even like I get it.
How is that not professional?
Like,
I feel like you're professional.
I'm being silly. I get it.
Don't talk
in
down
my
on
mind,
yourself.
In my mind, I take this very serious. Like
Okay.
I try to do my best and all that, and I take it serious. But I like to have fun with it, and I think that's part of like what resonates to people. It's just a different demographic. Like we kind of think we might have different demographics. You know what I mean? So like I think to connect to the demographic that we're trying to connect to, it's kind of easier just to have fun with it. And that's just how that's not my personality. I joke around a lot. I'm sarcastic. Like that's just who I am. But yeah, so I think a documentary, when we do it, if we do it, we're trying to kind of, I want to do a documentary, but like bring some new flavor to documentaries as far as how it flows, how it's edited. Like to me, like right now, the best documentary I've seen as far as how it's put together is Kanye's documentary. Have you seen that?
Enjoyed it. Yeah.
Like that's like being innovative in the actual, just the edits of it and just like going crazy with it. So we're trying to figure out a different way to just do a fun documentary. That's very I don't know. But I haven't figured it out yet. But I can, like, I'm always down for a challenge. I'm like, I want to try new things. And you're asking if I could do 1.5 hour long stuff. But yeah.
No, I like the aesthetic that you have. It's very consistent. Like, you can, like you said, you feel like you're a stoner journalist. Like, I mean, yes. However, I like that you have your character. You have very professional setup here, you know?
You talking about my character as far as my character or like my character Larry?
Yeah, Larry. Yeah.
Are you is that the character you're talking about?
It's like you.
Is that the character you're talking about though?
Yeah,
oh,
it's
I know
like
you're
you
talking
it's
about like my
you.
character. Never mind.
It's like.
Shout out to Larry, man.
And in both ways, because it's kind of like he's like this comedic presence in a way, and you almost function like, you know, the straight man. So it's an interesting relationship.
I would say he's a straight man.
Really?
Because he doesn't laugh. I've been trying to make him laugh since I met him. He just
But
never
that's
fucking
the
laughs.
funny thing, because it's to me. All right, you definitely have the dynamic of, you know.
Wait, are we talking about Karen or Larry? Karen. Who's Karen then? Oh, my bad. Go ahead. I'm cutting you off too much.
Like I said, he's the producer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like this relationship you have with this character that doesn't speak, you know, but you definitely feel his presence in the way that you have your dialogues with them. So that part, I feel like you have a very consistent style and flow to everything. And man, what was that documentary? I'm trying to think of the one on HBO.
Are you talking about the dude from Andrew, the dude with the curly hair?
Yeah. Like
he actually got canceled now, I think, which sucks.
No.
But
Oops.
no, it's I don't know. I'm not gonna get into that, but I do like his style of that's Channel 5. That's the Channel 5 documentary.
Yeah.
They did on the January 6th, right?
Mm-hmm. So I see. Yeah.
All of it. Have you seen their other stuff?
I've seen little.
You should go to YouTube and check it. Type in Channel 5 on YouTube. They have a very that's kind of what I'm thinking. It's like a different. It's like a new
YouTube?
take. It's a real playful. Well, no, I'm not gonna say all the stuff is playful, but it's a new take on journalism. That's what I would say.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you're in the same place I'm in, like as doing more things with social media. Because like I'm very ignorant to social media, getting front. So just. What am I trying to say? So, but seeing how people are creating with social media, it is making me want to find more innovative ways to storytell as well. Because, you know, the hour-long documentary is cool, you know. I do enjoy those, but I'm seeing people are consuming not energy, but in ways it is energy. Maybe I meant to say that.
It's all energy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Ding. People are consuming information in different ways. So my stubbornness, I need to catch up with the different ways.
And also, not every story takes an hour to tell.
That is true. And that is one thing that I admire with your sketches, because you are getting to the point very quick, and I don't feel like I'm missing anything. And that is something I'm still learning, coming from the long form world. Learning how to, like, you know, just... Did you watch The Fifth Element?
No, I haven't.
Then I'm not going to do this reference. You ain't going to know what I'm talking about.
Somebody will know what you're talking about. You can do it. He's seen it. Karen's seen it. I might have actually seen it. I probably just
when she
not
gives
remembering.
the long name, and he's like, just Lilu Dallas. Just... Anyway, see, you got to watch the movie.
Sometimes you got to simplify stuff.
Thank you. But you need to make sure you take time to watch that movie.
Yeah. The Fifth Element.
Mm-hmm. That's a movie that that's a movie I will quote randomly, especially, you know, Chris Tucker's parts. But anyway.
I was watching recently about Ice Cube talking about they try to give to Chris Tucker $12 million to do next Friday. He didn't want to do it. He turned down, he said, for religious reasons. he didn't want to curse or smoke on camera anymore.
Oh, all right.
So he had a change of heart since the first one. Okay, so but even just to wrap that note off, we are definitely, if you think there is like a project or something that we would be good on, definitely reach out. Let me know. We're definitely down to work on stuff.
Okay.
What's next for you? You're dropping stuff for PBS. You're doing these freelancing stuff. What is your next? Do you have a next personal project you're working on right now, or? If you need help, we'll help you get all your stuff over to YouTube. Get you off Vimeo.
That
got
needs
you
to be my next
kidnapped right now.
My next project.
I can't see. What is that? I can't see. Do you see what he's showing?
Yeah. He wants me to talk about having an Emmy.
Talk about the Emmy. Did we touch on that? I thought we did touch on that. No, you said you got nominated for it.
Well, I've been nominated like 5 times, but finally.
Yo, talk about it. What are you doing?
I won.
Talk
I
about
did
it.
win one. That's what he wants to talk about.
Yeah, we would love to hear about that.
I
How did it feel winning your first Emmy? And what did you win it? Like, if you want to tell us about which project it was for.
It was very validating because when you're talking about probably my hardest piece, it was that one because there were so many things going on at the time when I did that piece. So when I won, it was just like, it was all worth it. Yeah.
Which piece was it for?
This was with Virginia Currents. It was Art of the Journey. And I did two profiles on people that one person was a recovering alcoholic and the other, and the other woman, Myra Smith, she was talking about her story of survival and how they turn these very traumatic events into ways to help others, either through their art. So it was John Wharton and Myra Smith. So that piece was difficult. There was a lot of outward forces going on. And I remember like contemplating quitting because of how bad things were. So when I won that piece, it was just like, you know what you're doing. Like follow your instincts.
Did you have a team for that one, or?
It was just me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you shot at it.
Oh wait. No, I did have help on that one. I had another shooter helping me with that one.
So,
but as far
how'd you find out? Like how'd they reach out? Did you go like on stage? Was it like at the award show or?
The funny thing is, I was late
to the show.
Because they were doing an Arthur Ashe rededication, so I was filming that because I was doing a piece about getting right with our history. So I was shooting that the day of, thinking like, oh, I'll get there on time. But yeah, so my other coworker was like, "Oh my God, you just won!" As we were like walking into the hotel, I was like, "No!" But like at the same time, with my awkwardness, I'm kind of happy I missed when they called my name because I wouldn't have wanted to go up there at all.
Week, so you didn't even get to go. That's crazy.
I'm not even.
Did you
mad.
actually end up going to the show though? Like, you were there though. Like you were just late for your acceptance.
Yeah, I was late for my acceptance.
That's funny.
But yeah, it was cool. My mama was proud.
You got the Emmy up somewhere in the house?
Yeah. Javi wanted me to bring it, but I didn't want to be.
Weak.
I didn't want to be like that.
That's definitely something to be proud of. Like
I am, but I'm also like, okay, so what's next? Very much so.
I'm on the same shit. I get it.
Yeah, so it's like that was the validator, and I'm like, all right.
Did you go back to work the next day, or did you take some time off after the Emmy? Like, let me take a little break.
I mean, I ain't rich or nothing. I had to go back to work.
I guess there's no money that's involved with winning an Emmy, right?
You just get to be like, ooh, look at what I
mean, did it present any new job opportunities? Like now you're like an Emmy award, like you're a, you have an Emmy.
I think it helped with the word of mouth stuff
Yeah.
because everyone likes to, they like when they see, Emmy winning.
Because that's like a blue check in real life. You talking about social media? Like you got a real life blue check. You know what I mean?
Guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess.
So I guess really my last question was, what are you like working on right now? Anything that you're like want to say that you're working on? Like what's coming up next? Like personal projects and new ventures that you're doing?
I'm so boring.
It's like, nah, I just be at home. Doing edits.
Basically. But
You gotta work. You gotta do focus on your posture as well. I do a lot of edits now too, so I'm like constantly trying to like, let me not edit like this the whole time.
well, with right now as VPM, we are working on a pilot episode for a show that highlights Black influences in music, and the first episode is on jazz fusion and its influence on Afrofuturistic expression in music. So that's what I'm working on now. But
Okay.
not anything personal as of yet.
Yeah. And for people that want to tune into this stuff, is PBS still on TV? Or like, where's the majority of their viewership now? Is it on? Do they have like YouTube or how they do it?
They'll be able to see it on VPM's YouTube page, and I may end up on pbs.org. I'm not 100% sure with how they're going to be publishing stuff. So yeah, this is for VPM, which is Richmond's PBS affiliate. So that's what I'm working on right now.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel.
Hell yeah. That might be a fire spot to leave, Matt. Do you want to touch on anything else? Do you want to?
I wasn't trying to insult young editors. I was just talking about my experience with.
I don't think you insulted us.
I just wanted to make sure. I didn't want to sound a certain way.
No, I don't think you did.
Because I have learned a lot.
Karen's a young editor.
Because
Did
one
you
thing
feel
I
insulted?
definitely have learned is about how you gotta get to the point fast. So that is one thing I have learned from you youngins.
Yeah.
So.
But I mean, I enjoy a good longer, well-told story. If we're talking about, I like a lot of is it Scorsese, Wolf of Wall Street, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. These are all like 2-3 hour long movies, but I think at the end of the day, really, it's about the story. You know what I mean? You can shoot it different ways, you can do different things. But that's the substance. That's like the chunk of it. That's even like you might notice we use these are 1080p cameras. We don't have like for the skits we use his camera, which is like 4K. So it's a little better. But for these, like this is 1080p. We're not really too worried about video quality. It's more about the substance and the conversations and the relationships that are happening here. So that I think that's the story. Even though this is all a collective of a bunch of individual episodes, whatever. Like this is one episode, everybody's individual episodes. We talked to a bunch of people that don't even know each other, but I think it's like this show or whatever. Where everybody that's been on the show, it's like it ties everybody into the same story somehow. It's like we're telling a story that we don't even know the ending of it yet, but it's like we're telling and living the story at the same time. I don't know. It's kind of weird, but that's how I feel.
Yeah, and you
What
have
we're doing.
very much a variety of guests, which I really appreciate. Yeah, so.
Oh yeah, I appreciate you for coming through. We appreciate you guys for tapping in. Hell yeah, that was hard. Anything else you want to say? You good? We off it. Let us know in the comments who was more awkward, me or her. I was like, let's get it.